Oh, hey. Hi. Thanks for watching these videos. Please remember to click subscribe, like, share them with your colleagues, and then click show more below each video. Lots of lesson plans and ideas, inquiry questions, perfect for your classroom. Thanks for watching. Now, the outer planets are your gas giants: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. All of them have been visited by robotic missions from Earth, which is really a remarkable thing because the distances to these places is incredible. It's some 770 million kilometers to get to Jupiter. Well, that's the distance from the sun, but still, it's a long ways. Almost double that to get to Saturn. We've flown past Uranus, we've flown past Neptune, but we've never orbited those two. But we have actually orbited Jupiter with what they call the Galileo mission, and they've orbited Saturn with what they call the Cassini mission. So a lot of information has been gathered about these planets. They're very, very large. Likely Jupiter could be considered almost a brown dwarf. It was almost a star. It's just shy of being a star itself. It's so big. Jupiter is so big that it radiates more heat than it receives. And that heat is coming about almost through the same process as the sun, in that the gravitational attraction into the core is causing collisions of the molecules in its atmosphere, and those collisions generate friction, which radiates heat. The gravitational attraction of Jupiter is so strong that it just messes up the moons that orbit it. I've mentioned Io in previous videos, the most volcanic place in the solar system, simply because of the tidal tugging of the rock in Io from Jupiter's gravity, melts it and causes these eruptions continuously. The moon Europa has an icy surface, but because of this tidal action, there's friction in the core of Europa as well, which keeps some of that ice deeper down in a liquid state. And so we believe there to be a massive saltwater ocean underneath the ice. Perhaps one day we can land on Europa. Maybe have a nuclear heated probe that sinks under its own weight through the ice, only to emerge into this ocean to release little robotic probes that will swim around and seek out perhaps life forms. Wouldn't that be something if a light was turned on and staring at it in its face was some aquatic organism on the moon Europa orbiting Jupiter? Crazy thought. And of course, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto are the four largest moons that orbit Jupiter. These are called the Galilean moons, which I'll explain in another video. Saturn has an interesting moon in Enceladus. Enceladus is similar to Europa. It seems to be emanating plumes of water from below its icy surface, so there seems to be liquid water there as well. Another moon orbiting Saturn is called Titan. Titan is a very, very large moon, but what's interesting about it is it has its own atmosphere. Now, there's no other moons in the solar system that have an atmosphere. Titan does. But it's not a hospitable atmosphere. And the lakes that actually exist on the surface of Titan are not lakes of water, but they're fossil fuel type lakes. They're organic molecules, methane and ethane. There's these light fuels that we use here on Earth, like natural gas, but on Earth they're largely a gaseous state. But because of the temperatures on Titan, they're actually liquid, and they flow, and they carve, and they erode the surface. We've seen this because we've actually landed on the surface of Titan with a probe called the Huygens probe. And we've heard the wind blowing in the atmosphere of the moon, Titan. No humans will likely ever land there. But of course it raises an interesting question: is whenever we see fossil fuels on Earth, they're there because of the decomposition of previous forms of life. So how did fossil fuels get onto Titan? Is there another process that causes the formation of these molecules besides the decomposition of life? Well, probably, because I don't think that there was ever some dinosaurs or prairie grasslands on the surface of Titan which decomposed to form these bodies of methane lakes. But it does conjure up all kinds of interesting thoughts and imaginations. Further out, Uranus, an interesting planet that seems to rotate on its side. It does this barrel roll. Fascinating to think of what would a day be like. On Earth, it rotates this way, so we have a daytime and then we have a nighttime. But on Uranus, it rotates this way, as if it's sort of been tilted over. Fascinating thing. But, it's not a planet we're ever going to live on, likely ever visit even. There's nothing there that would entice a mission to land there or on a moon surrounding it. And then further out, Neptune, the most distant of the planets. Interesting thing about Neptune, it does have a moon that has several moons, but it has one in particular called Triton, which seems to be orbiting in the other way, opposite to everything else. If everything else is going around this way, here's Triton going around this way. So it is fascinating to wonder. Now, probably it was an asteroid that was captured coming from a different direction, perhaps, and it got into an orbit around Neptune the other way. So it's an interesting thing about Neptune. And that's the extent of our planets, 4 inner planets and 4 outer planets. And there's lots of interesting things you can learn about them, and that we have learned about them. Lots of missions. If you were to approach our solar system from some extraterrestrial place, or say some extraterrestrial being, some civilization made its way and found its way into our solar system, they would see evidence of us everywhere. There's probes that are on or around or passing by every single planet in our solar system. We've landed on Mercury, Venus, the Moon, Mars. We've orbited Jupiter. We've landed on a moon orbiting Saturn. We've gone past Uranus and Neptune. We have probes heading out of our solar system in every which direction. There's metallic robotic missions that have left our planet all over this solar system. Our fingerprint is evident everywhere. So if a civilization did approach, they would say, somebody has been here before. Somebody lives somewhere around here, because every time I turn around, there's another spacecraft whizzing by. We've been a very active and adventurous civilization exploring across the cosmic ocean. So it's really quite exciting.